get a new song and format it so that we can use it in our Sunday service arrangements. So here we are in multitracks.com, and this is the hub where we can get any popular worship song. You can, search through, see what other churches are doing, top songs, all the things, what other churches are doing. That's the song section. If we have a specific song we want, we're going to go to the search bar, and I'm actually going to search 1,000 Names by Phil Wickham and click on it there. Every month we get new credits that can be used to buy new songs. We already have this song, and you can see if we wanted to buy something, it says it costs 8 credits. Same thing would be right here. Multitracks are usually like 30 to 40 credits, and we just buy these with the credits. I'm going to hit download because we already have purchased the song, and we already have this song in the key of G, but you have access to every single key of the song. So you only have to purchase things one time, and you have all of the keys. I have already done this in the key of G and formatted it, but we want to use this for a female key, so I'm going to go ahead and download the key of D so it could be a female lead. And I already have it on my computer, so you would hit download and have that process go through. So I have it here on my desktop. You're going to open the folder and click on Multitrack, and that's going to, you see down here, open Ableton Live, and you need the Ableton software on your computer for it to open, obviously. And we'll expand this so you see this is our multitrack. I'm gonna go to count off, and you can hear
1,
that's
2,
everything that we hear
intro,
in our in-ears
2,
on
3,
weekend services.
4.
And that's already transposed in everything. You can see all of the tracks are listed here, top to bottom. Ableton can look a little overwhelming when it's your first time doing it, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. You can expand every track by clicking this little arrow and collapse it just the same way. So that is all good. What we need to do is add things so we could have a full Ableton Live session, so we can have multiple songs that we have playing for a service. So what we need to do is create some audio tracks and a MIDI track. So to create a audio track, I'm going to press Command and T. You'll see I created a audio track right here. I'm going to right click, go down here, change the track to white, and I'm also going to right click and rename. You could also do the little quick commands, so rename would be Command R to rename it. I'm going to call this one Tempo, and I want this one to be above the click track. I'm also going to create another one by doing Command T. Again, right click, make this one white, click it, Command R to rename, and this is going to be MP3. And you can collapse those, clean it up a little bit. Now I'm going to create a MIDI track. To do that, you're going to do Command Shift T, and you see it created a MIDI track. We want this one to be black. Click on it, Command R to rename Markers. And we want markers to be at the very top. So we created a MIDI track called Markers. You want everything in this order: markers, tempo, MP3, click, guide, all the other instrument tracks. Let's work on the tempo first. This will make sure the tempo as we go in and out of songs that have different tempos, it stays the same. So we're going to go to Ableton Tools. This is already on my my flash drive. We go to Ableton Tools, go to tempo.mp3 right here. I right-clicked and added it to my favorites so that it's already super accessible. I just click it and drag it into this tempo track. And I want it to be at the very beginning of the song. Really make sure it's all the way over there. Now what we want to do is expand this. If you go to where the white band is at the top of the track, it makes that little staple. Click and drag until it's all the way at the end, lines up with the end of the song. So that's good. Now we're going to click it again and consolidate it. So we're going to hit Command J to consolidate. And this doesn't take very long. So now it's consolidated and it created this. It gives you the date and the time. We want to clean that up and just click it, do Command R to rename, just call it tempo. And now one last step with the tempo, we want to double click down here where it says follow. We want tempo to be the leader. So that's going to lead, just you can toggle that follow, lead, tempo always goes on lead. And we're done with the tempo track. Now let's work on the markers. So I'll expand that. You can see right here there's already markers in there, but that starts right on the downbeat. So if I click on the chorus right here, it's already in the chorus. We want to start these markers a measure ahead where we have the count off, and that will help in rehearsals with navigating quickly to the sections we want to work on. So if I start a measure ahead, that has the cue
Chorus 1
for chorus. So your band has time to get ready. So I'm just going to go in here and we have a couple measures of intro. I'm going to click and drag to highlight all of this. And again, you can see up here, this is measure 10, verse 1 starts on measure 11. So I'm going to click, drag to measure 10 and create a marker by hitting Command Shift M for marker. And it created a thing. We're going to hit Command R to rename this and call it intro and hit enter once you're done with that. Now, same thing, we're in verse 1, click drag to one measure before the chorus, Command Shift M, Command R to rename verse 1, chorus 1, we're going to click drag to measure 26 because the turnaround starts on measure 27, Command Shift M, Command R, rename chorus 1. It's kind of a tedious process. We'll go here, Command Shift M, rename, turnaround. To make it a little quicker, you can click on the sections. I'm going to click on verse 1, Command copy it. So Command C, then click right here, Command V. So it copies that whole thing, and I can rename it verse 2. Same thing for the chorus. I'll click and Command C, Command V to put that in chorus 2, and we'll rename it. Now we're at this interlude. Command Shift M, Command R, interlude. Now we're at the bridge. Bridge 1, Command C, Command V, bridge 2. And in this song, the bridge 3 is a little shorter, so I'll just create a different marker for that. I'll go to measure 70, Command Shift M, rename it bridge 3. And we have another chorus 2, so copy, paste. And then interlude, interlude, interlude. If it's a bunch of instrumental stuff, I don't even worry about it. I'll just create a new one, Command Shift M, rename all of this outro. Because chances are you won't work on small sections like that in a rehearsal. So now the markers are done. And the last thing we need to do is add in the MP3. I already have the MP3 downloaded. Here it is, 1,000 names. We'll slide this in here. And Phil Wickham does a great job of having his MP3s and multitracks be the same length, so you don't have to drag all of the things around and try to line it up. Here, I'll show you what that sounds like. So right now everything is in perfect little snap to grid mode, where if I move this, it's just snapping to the measure lines. I'm going to hit Command 4 so that it's no longer snapping to grid, it's just gliding along. Most songs it'll be off a little bit and it will sound like garbage.
Intro.
Yeah, so total chaos. And that's because it's not lined up to the correct tempo, and it's also not in the right key. So what we have to do is double click to pop up this bottom section, and we want to transpose it first. So where it says beats right here, drop that down, go to Complex Pro. And then we're going to put this into the key of D. We're already in the key of B flat, so you should know what key the song is originally in. And we want it to go to D. So we're at B flat, go up 1. I'm going to click and drag this up, go to +1. So now we're in B, +2, C, +3 would be C sharp. So +4 right here, we're in the key of D. You can also do that quickly by, I think if you just do 4 and enter, it transposes it that way too. So let's hear how it sounds now. Alright, so the key is now correct, but it's still way off. So I'm going to, actually I had these in the wrong order. You want your MP3 to be right above your drum track and below your guide. But we're going to line this up so it sounds correct. If you open up the drum track, you can usually go based off of that. Like I said, Phil Wickham does a great job. If I slide this all the way over, it'll actually sound pretty close.
Verse 2. Drums in.
But you can still see it's a little bit off. So as I zoom in, you can see this drum wave. It starts back here, and you see sort of that same shape right here. We want to line those up. And sometimes you need to trim off a little bit from the beginning. So you'll get that staple looking icon. Just pull that in so you have more room to work with. And I'll zoom all the way in so you can really see that drum hit. So that's pretty close. I'll go a little bit more. So I'm kind of looking at this valley right here and lining it up with this one. I think that will get us where we need to be. Close enough. Let's see.
Chorus 1.
Alright, so that's sounding good. So we should be done with the MP3 track also. Now we want to save this, so I'm going to go to File, Save Live Set As, and we're going to save it as 1,000 names dash space FMTD, so that tells us that it's formatted. And let's see, I have this in the wrong folder, but that's okay. All my tracks are on this drive. Find 1,000 names. And I haven't created a new folder yet. You want a folder for each key that you do. So I'll create that, and I'll make another video about file organization and formatting everything. But I would save it. Let's say this is the key of G. I would just hit save and put it in there. But this is the key of D, so I'll create a new folder for that. But that's how you format tracks straight out of multitracks.com, so we can input it into a service.